Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Today's Mishnah is dedicated because today's Yom HaShoah. Today's Mishnah is dedicated in memory of Aliyas Neshama for all those who perished during the Holocaust. Okay, so we're learning Mishnah Nazir, Perek Aleph, Chapter 1, Mishnah Gimel, Mishnah 3. Stam Nazir Shloshim Yom. An unspecified amount of time for Naziris is 30 days. That means if a person just says, I am a Nazir, no specification for how long. How long will he be a Nazir for? 30 days. Omar, let's say a Nazir says, Hareni Nazir achas gadola. I am going to be a Nazir for a lot. I'm going to be a Nazir. I'm going to be a Nazir for one big one, for one large term. That's basically what he's saying. I am a Nazir. I'm going to be a Nazir for one long term. How long is long? Doesn't say. Hareni Nazir achas katana. He says I'm a Nazir for one small term. How small is small? Even if he were to say I am a Nazir from here until the end of the world. Had Nazir shloshim yom. That person will only be a Nazir for 30 days. So now let's examine the cases. The person says I'm a Nazir for one long term. How long is long? We don't know. So therefore we say that his term is he's going to have a regular basic term of 30 days. Oh, he said big. It's a big term. Yeah. 30 days for some people is going to be big.
A long time.
Okay? And if he calls it a small one, 30 days can be a small one. But the fact that but without any kind of specification of time, we therefore say that all it is a standard or basic Naziris. Now, in the case where a person says from here until the end of the world, that kind of sounds a bit more serious, right? Sounds a bit more like he's trying to say forever. But the Mishnah says no. The Mishnah says that's not what he means. Rather, what he means is the following. He's saying that this Naziris I'm taking by myself, you know what it feels like? It's going to feel like from here until the end of the world. It's not a way of specifying or saying how long you want it to be for, but it's really just a way of expressing how he feels about it. And they say here it has to do with the way he phrased his words, and therefore, at the end of the day, when a person says this, in all these three cases, he's just going to be a Nazir for 30 days. Okay, I'll tell you what they say here. Why are we saying that his meaning is not that he wants to be a Nazir forever, but rather just a Nazir, and this is how I feel. So they say here, this seems to be the more likely meaning, either because he added the words from here, did not simply say I'm a Nazir to the end of the world. A few words here and there can make a difference as to how we really hear what he's saying. Or because he did not say instead, listen to this one, I am another for 500 years, the commonly accepted time to reach the end of the world. What does it mean to the end of the world? It means from here to the end of the world. He's giving a distance from here to the end of the world. Okay? And okay, so sounds like it means for a long time. So they bring down here from Taisvis that no, if he really meant about a time, and he meant to say a long time, would have said 500 years. Which is commonly the accepted time to reach the end of the world. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Maybe just a colloquial kind of thing. But the bottom line is that we understand that what he's saying is not so much a time, but as much as a way of describing, that this is how do we say it here? Right. The 30-day term of Nazir's restriction seemed to him as long as from here to the end of the world. He's not giving a time, he's giving a distance. And therefore, we are saying that he doesn't mean it as a time expression, but just as an expression of how it feels to him. All right, next case. Gets a little bit more complicated here. Hareni Nazir v'yoim echad. These were his words. I am a Nazir. I'm hereby a Nazir, and one day. Hareni Nazir v'shah achas. I am hereby a Nazir, and 1 hour. Hareni Nazir achas umechza. I am a Nazir, 1.5. That's what he said. Harei ze Nazir shtayim. In both these cases, he is a Nazir twice. That means he has to keep 2 separate terms of Naziris, one after the other.
60 days or
Not 60 days straight. 30 days, end it,
and then get
start the next one. Now, how do we understand this here? So let me read it to you here. In all these, this is because we understand his vow referring to two separate terms of Naziris. Okay, and the reason for that is, one second. One a standard term of 30 days, and the other a short term of just 1 day, an hour, or half a term. Meaning this person said, Hareini Nazir. Right? He said, I'm a Nazir. That is a statement on its own of complete acceptance of Naziris. And therefore, if he says Hareini Nazir and 1 day, we understand him to be saying, I want to do 2 Nazirisin. The first one is standard, 30 days. The next one is only for 1 day. But you can't do that. You can't do only for 1 day. And therefore, it becomes another full term of Naziris. Because he wants to take out a separate Naziris, he says, but only 1 day, you can't do only 1 day. And therefore, it becomes a 30-day one. And the same thing when he says, I'm a Nazir and 1 hour. You can't be a Nazir for 1 hour. And therefore, it actually becomes a whole second term. And again, I'm one Nazir and I am 1 Nazir and a half. Can't be a half a Nazir. Can't be a Nazir for half a month. And therefore, at the end of the day, it turns into 2 separate, one after the other, Naziris. Now, the final case, Hareini Nazir Shleishim Yoim B'Shachas. Here he says, I am a Nazir for 30 days and an hour. Now, when he says that, does that sound like 2 separate Naziris? Or this is the amount of time that I want to do it? So it's in this case where he mentions a time of how long there should be for, we therefore understand that this added part, the 1 hour, is just an addition to the time that he mentioned before. There's only one thing. Can you be a Nazir for an hour? You can't. And therefore, says the Mishnah, Nazir shleishim ve'echad yom. You are a Nazir for 31 days. Shenoizim l'nit l'shois. Can't be a Nazir only for hours. We derive from the words of the Torah, a Naziris has to be for a day. So again, this is so how long is this Naziris for? 31 days. Not 2. In the case before, where there's no mention of a time, he just says a Naziris plus. So we understand that as 2 separate Nazirisin. And since the second one that he wants to do isn't feasible, because you can't only have half a Naziris, or an hour Naziris, or a day Naziris, it turns into a whole nother minimum 30-day period of Naziris. But in the case here, where you're mentioning hours, so then already you're mentioning hours, you're mentioning a time span. So then this other, unit of time that he mentions, we understand it as being part of the first unit of time mentioned. It's just that unit of time itself, an hour, what was the case? 30 days in an hour, you can't be a Nazir for an hour. It has to be at least a day. And therefore, the added time that you're at, the 31st day that you're adding, right, which you only wanted to be an hour's worth, is going to become a whole day. But at the end of the day, it's only 1 Naziris for 31 days. Have a wonderful day.
So you could add on till you got to come to the base of